Oh, well, Major, I want to start with a short video clip from 1992 from Entertainment Tonight, which is owned by CBS Television. In it, Donald Trump is heard making questionable comments about a young girl. Let's listen to that.
Soon, Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
You can hear him say, I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it? Major, I wonder how concerned the Trump campaign is about videos like that one continuing to surface.
Deeply concerned. The Trump campaign is, I think it's fair to say, on eggshells about any disclosures, any videotape, audio tape, any accusations coming from other women about untoward remarks, physical aggression, anything in this category of Trump acting like someone unfit for the presidency or unfit as a gentleman. And the Trump campaign doesn't know what's out there, doesn't know what may or may not be coming, and Trump has not really given those closest to him any indication about what might be out there. One of this realities of the Trump campaign, Elaine, and it's been never more apparent than it is now. Unlike most people who run for the presidency, it appears Donald Trump did very little opposition research on himself. Most people who seek the presidency, skilled politicians, do all of that in advance, or as much of it as they can, to find out all the potentially negative things that might be out there, how to prepare for them, how to respond, and how to keep them out of public view if at all possible. The last couple of weeks certainly indicate that if Donald Trump was curious about that, he wasn't curious enough. And the fact that his closest advisors now live in a state of semi-panic about what may or may not be coming indicates to me that Trump didn't do very much of this across the entire realm of possibility, which leaves his campaign and those closest to it, and Trump himself, vulnerable to whatever may come next.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Major. As you well know, opposition research really is one of the mainstays of traditional campaigns, including opposition research on a candidate, him or herself. Let me ask you this, Major.
Because you know your opponent, your opponent's going to do it, Elaine. So the whole idea is do it preemptively, do it on yourself, learn all of your worst traits, disclose everything, at least internally, and develop a battle plan. It appears this campaign has not done that.
Yeah. Let me ask you about this. We know that Donald Trump's core supporters remain unfazed by the controversial remarks regarding women. I wonder how you interpret the polls that we're seeing now. Are those undecided voters responding? And also, Major, what really is the challenge here for those folks who are in Trump's inner circle as they head into these final weeks before Election Day?
I think the best way to answer that, Elaine, is based on conversations I've had with Trump supporters this week and that our embed, Sopan Deb, has had as well. Yes, Trump supporters remain fiercely loyal to Trump. They think all of this is either a media exaggeration or that there are things that have been revealed about ethical issues related to Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, the WikiLeaks emails that they believe are far, far more important and far more on point as to who might or might not be fit for the presidency. They are locked in. And as my piece just reported, people who are donating and gathering money on behalf of the Trump campaign are still writing checks. They are not deterred. They are still with Donald Trump, writing big checks, $5 million raised in Texas this week, more than half of it raised after that 2005 video surfaced on Friday. And bundlers I've talked to working on Trump's behalf say that's an indication to them, surprising they concede it to be, that people are still not only committed to Trump, but willing to write big checks on behalf of the campaign. And the principal reason is not because Donald Trump is the best, most ethical person who ever sought the presidency, but they believe Hillary Clinton is, if not the worst, the closest they've seen in their lifetime to the worst, and they want to defeat her and are willing to stick with Trump no matter what to achieve that goal. That seems to me to be the overall context. The challenge for Trump is expand the number of people who believe that, beyond those who have been committed for these many, many months. How he goes about that, amid all these other difficulties and controversies, that's a tough challenge.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess the question is, Major, given that there are still some big checks, as you reported in your piece, coming in, how much of an impact realistically can that money have here, given the context of things like this latest videotape to surface?
Well, that's a more interesting question this week than it was last week, Elaine, because these funds are raised for the Victory Fund, which is a Trump Republican National Committee joint operation that is basically designed to improve get out the vote efforts for everyone on the Republican ballot, from Trump all the way down. And this schism that's developed over the weekend and intensified in the last couple of days, led by House Speaker Paul Ryan, raises a legitimate question about how much of that money is going to be devoted for Trump, how much is it going to be devoted to House Republican races, Senate Republican races, governor's races, et cetera, et cetera. All of that is to be worked out by the Trump campaign and the Republican National Committee, which they insist publicly are working in hand in glove and in total cooperation. But all of this tumult raises questions about how effective that money can be, how many people you can energize, and how many people you can deliver to the polls. And I think, as I indicated a couple of moments ago, Donald Trump doesn't need any more challenges of this kind.
Yeah, a complex political picture. All right, Major Garrett in Lakeland, Florida for us. Major, thank you.